Polymarket has introduced trading fees on some markets. So you can see in the documentation where they say that most markets on Polymarket has no trading fees, which is also true. But there is the 15-minute crypto markets, which we've been discussing. For example, the Bitcoin 15-minute market, we have a trading fee here. So the 15-minute crypto market charges a small taker fee on each trade. And that's a taker fee, which is going to be important here later in our discussion. These fees are collected and redistributed daily to market makers as rebates, incentivizing deeper liquidity and tighter spreads. So it's actually a fee that they take from the makers and then they redistribute it to the makers. And what's the difference about those two? I'll try to explain that. So yeah, there's a whole lot of explanation here. And basically how the maker rebates work is they are paid daily in USDC. Rebates are calculated and distributed every day. And then it's performance based. You earn based on the share of liquidity you provide that actually got taken. So this is for the maker. So what is a maker? You can see here if we are on the Bitcoin up and down 15-minute market, you can see here we have this indicator that we actually have maker rebate, or in other words, we have fees on this market. And it says here earn daily USDC rebates by placing limit orders that gets filled. So what is a limit order? A limit order is basically just an order that rests on the order book that is not taken immediately. So for example, if you put a trade and you put market, that's going to be a taker. And then you'll pay a fee. If you put a limit order, and let's say that it rests somewhere here and is not taken immediately, then you actually participate in the maker rebate program, but only if it's taken later. So if it's taken right away, you pay a fee. But if it rests on the order book and it's taken later, then you actually can earn money on that. So the timeline here is kind of fluffy a little bit. We don't know like how long time does it have to rest on the order book before you get the rebate, and how long time, does it take before it's a maker order and you actually pay a fee. So that's kind of a little bit gray zone. We don't really know. It's not stated in the documentation. We have the fee structure. That's the taker fee structure here, which looks like this. Okay, so you have here on the x-axis we have the price of the share, right? So that's up or down. So 0 represents down and 1 represents up, 100% and 0%. And then you have the fee over here from 0 to 1.56%. So the longer you go towards the middle of the price, so like 50 cents, the higher the fee you pay. So you can see here the table here, which represents 100 shares. You can see here how in the middle, the effective rate on a share that costs 50 cents is going to be 1.56. So that's obviously where you'll pay the most fees. So in this example, if you put $50 US dollar as trade value, you actually pay a fee of $0.78. So that's the maximum effective rate, 1.56. Now here's the kicker about these rebates. So look at this here. Now today is 13 January. So from the period 9 of January to 11 of January, the maker rebate was 100%. I don't know what it was before this period, or if there was any at all. But then from yesterday, January 12th to January 18, the maker rebate is 20%. So that actually means that the Polymarket collects now 80% of all the fees collected on these 15-minute markets. Okay. Now this might actually explain our guy here, account 88888, okay? Because we talked about him in the other video. And look at this, so 1 day profit loss is 0.9, so you actually not made any profits. Let's say if we take a week here. So since January 6th, seems like he almost did not trade. January 6th, and then if we go back here, oh sorry, I'm saying something wrong now. January 9, there was still mega rebate 100, so that ended 11. So it seems like he stopped his bot before that. So the 11 is here, and he actually stopped it just before. So I don't know if we can explain this from that, but if we look at his activity, he did have a mega rebate here just 3 days ago for almost $2,000. So that is definitely an income this guy he got from his trading bot. But if it explains all of the performance, is hard to say, right? But yeah, so this bot has not been active, and so that could possibly be these fees. So maybe it's because the fees has actually been enabled on January 9. That probably is the case, right? Because January 9, yeah, he stopped it. He stopped it on January 9. So yeah, so this is where we got the fee, I guess. And please correct me if I'm wrong, if it's not enabled on the 9th of January. But that's here that he stopped his spot, and that kind of correlates with these. And now, yeah, again, the kicker is we don't even have the 100% rebates anymore. So in this period, it was probably very viable to make decent amount of money putting trades on the order book, having them rest on the order book and being taken. Again, a little bit risky also, right? We have to figure out how to, if it's only taken on one side, how are we going to hedge the other side? But now it doesn't seem like that's very viable to do it that way. For API users, if you use the APIs to trade, you have to follow these instructions here. So if you use their official clients, which I currently do, then it's taken care of. But if you just call the REST API directly, you need to pass in the fee rate. Okay, that has to be included in the signed order. Okay, so when you sign the order and you send it to them, you have to pass in the fee rate. And you can get the fee rates on each of the individual markets. So it is in the payload, the JSON payload with you when you get the market. FAQ states the following: how do I qualify for mega rebates? Place orders that add liquidity to the book and gets filled. That is, your liquidity is taken by another trader. Okay, so when are rebates paid? Daily in USDC, and that's what we saw on account. So he got his rebate here, mega rebate, 3 days ago. How are rebates calculated? So that's what we just discussed. Rebates are proportional to your shares of executed mega liquidity in each eligible market. So that's what we just discussed with the fee structure. Where does the rebate pool come from? Taker fees collected in the markets are allocated to the mega rebate pool and distributed daily. Which markets have fees enabled? Currently, only 15-minute markets. Only 15-minute crypto markets have taker fees enabled currently. So we'll see what happens if they're gonna introduce this to other markets. They probably will, but right now it's only the 15-minute crypto market. And then no crypto Polymarket is collecting taker fees only on 15-minute crypto markets. So yeah, that's a little bit about the fees, and this is gonna make, I'm sure these fees are making a lot of noise with these high frequency trading bots, because what we have been discussing so far is basically trying to capture 1% gain per trade, right? But here we are talking 1.56% fee on potentially some trades. So this completely eliminates profitability of a lot of bots, I'm sure. it could have been offset by the 100% mega rebates, but since they changed that to 20%, then again, yeah, it's probably devastating for a lot of bots. This one here. Yeah, and so then I guess the last note that I want to discuss is we don't really exactly know how they calculate these curves here, and we have this variable c equals 10, 50, 100. I don't know what that is. I don't know why they have 3 different curves. Is that proportional to the amount of shares or what? Because here in this table they used the fee table of 100 shares. So we really don't know what this is. What is C? Is anybody able to answer what is C here? Because that means, I mean, it looks like a big difference, right? If we have a low C, then it could be amount of shares. I don't know, but then again, if C is 1,000, then how is that gonna look like? So maybe that's not the case. So yeah, that's the last note. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you know what C is or have any other ideas about these fee structure, please leave a comment down below, and I'll take a look at it. Have a good one. See you on the next video.